power outages in the Philippines, along with enormous debris fields, part of the misery that persists in the Philippines now 11 days after that monster typhoon. The international aid effort has been in full swing for days now, but there is the Filipino President Benigno Aquino pitching in today to hand out supplies to survivors. Despite the massive effort the United Nations is admitting today, parts of the population have not seen any help yet at all.
Behind the boundaries of Tacloban have not received much so far, and it is nobody's fault. It is simply through the geographic spread, the complexity, the access, and so on.
Canadian military helicopters are on their way to reach those in the especially remote areas. 2 choppers from CFB Trenton were airlifted yesterday, flying to the Philippine city of Roxas. Now, that is where Canada's DART is basing its mission. David Common is part of our team on the ground there and brings us the very latest on what Canadians are doing to help.
Well, this is the main DART camp, the Canadian Armed Forces Disaster Assistance Response Team. They are quite literally camped out. This is a sports stadium, a soccer field, and the base at least for, let's say, the next 60 days, perhaps more, as Canadian soldiers work here to provide water purification. They've now got their big reverse osmosis water purification units. Those things are incredible. Stick one end of a hose into almost raw sewage. It comes out the other end, clean, pure drinking water, useful for anyone, and drinking water very much a need here. But food is also a critical need. How do you get food in? Well, getting it into larger communities, not that big a deal right now. The aid effort has certainly got there, but it's the smaller communities, the many, many outlying islands, or those that are in rivers or along river banks that have yet to see a single outsider and are in dire need. The Canadian Armed Forces bringing in 2 Griffin helicopters. They'll be able to what they call sling food into those communities, also bringing in some inflatable boats, things like Zodiacs. They'll be able to deliver aid directly to those communities. Now, it will come in some, perhaps weeks after the typhoon struck. They're going to need this quite critically, quite urgently. In the meantime, a lot of the Canadian military folks here are also helping clear roads, get power back up and running for the areas that are slightly less devastated. But in the long run, what the Philippines is going to need is housing, because so much of it has been washed away. Areas that we've seen tidal surge came in on that typhoon. People ran up to the roof in the middle of incredible winds to just try to survive. Many did not. They got swept back out in the ocean, and all that was left of the village was ruins. Everything else sucked back out. Incredible scenes here in the Philippines. David Common, CBC News, Roxas.